Ecosystems Narrative Input. I have a special place in this food web. Some call it the food pyramid, where there is interdependence between the different organisms. Who's at the top is hard to say, but I think it all ends with me. My ecosystem exists in many different parts of the world. I will lead with saying this. I like my ecosystem. It's dark and wet, but the sun does shine through sometimes. Recently, I've been watching the feeding all unfold in front of me as every organism tries to live and survive. Here is a distinguished prologue that I have generated as I'm about to explain the food web process I observe every day. With all the rainfall and rich soil, there are many plants growing here. I see all the plants compete for a spot on the crowded ground. It's hard for the plants to get sunlight as the older, taller plants take it all away. The plants either find a spot and survive or die. The sunlight is needed to make their food through photosynthesis. How would they be able to grow without the limiting resource of the sun? These plants make their own food, but only if they have the resources to do it. Plants often think they show altruism because they don't eat animals. But I wouldn't say they're as wise as an owl because they're also using the soil for nutrients, which gets enriched by the help of the other organisms. The plants, the producers or autotrophs, have needs too. Alternatively, I must admit they are skilled at making their own food. If they could, they would grow everywhere and take up any and all space. The producers, or plants, are at the bottom of the heap, as all of the consumers live off of them, especially herbivores or vegetarians. The herbivores are always eating plants. I could never understand this. Hello, don't they get tired of always eating plants? I'd say no thank you to all that green food. Frequently, I see the herbivores grazing, nibbling, and tearing away leaves, roots, and fruits. It's a good thing there are a lot of plants because their primary consumers sure do have an appetite. I've seen some of them mow down an entire acre in one day. Similarly, I've also seen them eat what seemed like an entire forest. They eat without abandon. Take this deer, for example. It will eat all the plants without thinking twice. Another consumer is the carnivore, such as this peregrine falcon, which shares genes with other species in the bird family. It eats other animals. Occasionally, it's nice to have them in the ecosystem. It seems to me that there would be no plants left if the herbivores just kept eating and eating. The carnivores eat the herbivores and keep the population down. They drop like flies. I do feel bad for the herbivores sometimes, but it helps keep them in their place. Specifically, carnivores will hunt down and eat herbivores. They think they are the best thing since sliced bread, but these predators have predators too. And in the end, I get to all of them. There are also plenty of consumers who are known as omnivores. Omnivores eat plants and animals to survive. I see many animals that don't care what they eat. They'll eat all types of plants and add fuel to the fire. They'll eat animals too. Moreover, they'll devour plants and snap up animals in the same meal. I call them omnivores. Herbivores, like the deer, just eat plants. Then, when the pack of wolves comes and eats the deer, that wolf is an example of a carnivore. The wolves didn't even think about eating the berries nearby. But the wolves ran away when they saw the bear stumble onto the scene. That bear ate what was left of the deer and then moved on to the berries. This bear must have been an omnivore. So the deer got its energy from the plants, the wolves got their energy from the deer, and the bear got its energy from the deer and the berries. They left me all alone to watch the whole thing, because I'm the real king of the jungle. Not even the biggest consumers in our ecosystem want to mess with me. I eventually get to all of them, you see. It doesn't matter to me if they're producers or consumers. I don't particularly care where my food comes from. I have the best spot out of all the organisms. The herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores all underestimate me. I am the one that feeds on them all. I am a decomposer. As unappealing as it may seem, my larva and I are part of nature's cleanup crew. I lay my eggs in rotting carcasses. My larvae feed on decomposing flesh and break it down into organic material. While I'm digesting, I release nutrients back into the soil. These nutrients create the rich soil that supports all the life in my ecosystem. You're welcome. Don't worry, someday I'll be feeding on you too. But don't worry, it's good for the soil. I will now take my bow and say goodbye. Who am I? What is my alias? I'm a decomposer, the magnificent fly.